Hey guys, welcome to a new video on my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make a RoughMet for your livery. The RoughMet is your roughness metallic texture, which sets how rough, meaning how shiny or how smooth your surface is, and whether it's metallic or non-metallic. You can find the example here. Let's look at a normal skin. You see the skin is rather shiny, but it's not metallic. And we go to the metallic tab and you'll see only this part, because this is essentially exposed metal, and only the screws are visible in the metallic layer because they are made out of metal, and everything else is in the roughness layer. You see the wear and everything. Then you have the AO, which is baked in shadows in the reflections, because the game is not doing ray tracing. Therefore, it relies on those textures to cast shadows on areas where the light may not easily get to. If you remove those, you will have infinite light everywhere. Everything is going to be looking kind of bright. You won't have those shadows in those small places here. Then you have the cavity layer, which usually is used for small lines like this or for screws and similar. And I'm going to show you how you actually create those from the template. So let's jump over to GIMP, and you'll find the template here. We're going to be working on the left rudder today. For this skin, we're just going to use a standard tail here. So we go back here, and you see those two layers and the 3-layer groups. The first thing you do is you open the albedo and you drag the AO up, set it to normal, and then you take the text, drag it out of here, and you take the markings, you drag it up here as well. You turn that off, you turn that off, and you'll see you'll only have the lines left. You group that together, merging the layer group. You put this together like this. Colors, brightness and contrast, set it to 0 contrast or -127 contrast. Now, the next thing you do, you create 7 folders. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And now you have to split them up into 2 folders each by just moving them above each other like this. And then you take the last folder and move it on top of those. Now we need to create base colors for our R, G, and B system. So we max out red, we lower green and lower blue, and we create a new layer. We call it content R because it's red. Set it to foreground color, which is going to be this one, and hit OK. You get a full red layer, and we do that 2 more times, setting the second color to green, making a new layer. OK, green. And we do that a 3rd time for blue. Red, green is 0, blue is 100. OK, new layer. OK. Now you have those 3 groups down here. You rename them to red, green, and blue. And if I could type, I would actually write blue. Now you have RGB, which you may recognize, and that is what our color is composed of. Now I created another folder up here. We call that alpha. And now we move the red color below the layer group in the red folder like this. And we do the same for blue and for green. Now you should have those folders. Now you go to the red folder, you set that to lighten only. Same for green, lighten only, blue, lighten only. Now you go to the layer group and you set those to darken only. Darken only and darken only. And this is where the roughness, the metallic, the markings, the cavity, and the AO come into play. We start with the AO, we take it, we put it into the layer group. This right here is the content of the red group. So we call it content R, we call that content G, and we call that content blue. Blue is handling metallic, so we take metallic, move it into content blue, turn it on. Now we take roughness, turn it on, move it into green. Now it will look like this. We turn on the AO as well. We move the markings up so everything becomes visible. We put the markings below the roughness into content G, with, above roughness, sorry, like this. It will look like this. Important, blue, aka the metallic layer, is only for metallic. It only works either yes or no. It can only be metallic or non-metallic. So you shouldn't have white, black, gray in here like I do on this livery, because again, this was created using the wrong method, meaning that this is wrong. Because if you take this, you see this tail right here? You have that in here. And if we turn off the green, red, and alpha layer, and we turn off the blue, you will see that this is the exact same as this. Those are the separate channels that you can view in the model view. So we turn that all back on because we need that. So now you would say we are done, right? It looks like a RoughMet. However, you may see this has a cavity, and this is where the alpha comes into play. Now we turn on the alpha, we close the folders beforehand to make it easier. We move the folders into the alpha folder one by one like this, and then we right click alpha, we create a layer mask, and then we turn that on. We copy that with left control C, and we paste that into the alpha's mask by pressing left control V. You will hit the anchor. And now you can turn off the cavity because we just copied the cavity into the alpha, which, as you see, makes those little bits transparent. That right here is the cavity map that you can see right there. It's hard to see. It's not used that often, and it doesn't work for every plane. We're going to use it on this because it's good practice to put it in. And now what we have to do is go to File, Export As. We go to the skin. In this case, we go to the Liveries folder. You may have to find it somewhere. You can right-click a folder, add it to bookmarks to make it show here on the left. We go to the A10C2, that skin. And since we're working on A10-1D, it's going to be A10-1D RoughMet. We hit export, replace, and it's going to give us a small context menu right here. We hit BC3. Normally you would use BC7 and DXT7 if I remember correctly. I may be wrong. This is just a different compression format which looks better. Right here we can use BC3 because GIMP doesn't natively support BC7. Issue is just it lowers the quality a tiny bit, but for the sake of the tutorial it works. We go to all visible layers. We go to generate bitmaps. We hit export. It may give you this message. It doesn't matter. And now we go here. And normally you would press this button here, reload textures, and you would reload the textures. You would have the RoughMets that look normal. Now let's say you want to make this a bare metal skin. How would you do that? It's very simple. You go in here, you go to blue, you turn that on, you go to metallic, and you turn that to white. Let's say we just want to make a completely chrome skin. Just turn that to white. We'll make it look like this. It will make it look pinkish. And now we hit file. Now we can just do export because we already set the settings here. Export. You may get a warning message. You go into the model viewer. Boom. You have a metal texture on your A10, which admittedly looks kind of interesting. Now let's say you don't want metallic. Let's say we just revert that. Let's say you want to make it more shiny. This is when we go into the roughness, take this layer, and we just make it brighter. Let's max it out. We save it again. Go back. Boom. Now it's completely... Oh, never mind. Green does mattness, so if you max that out, it's going to be matte. Sorry, it's gonna look like rubber. My mistake, I mixed that up. So let's make it shiny. We just go here, we invert that, we make that black. Go to File, RoughMet, save, boom. Now it's shiny. This is pretty much how you create a RoughMet. This is the basic step. You can even make a mirror skin by just having a dark green and having a very bright blue. Like this. File. There is some people that may say and may try to tell you that all you have to do is just make it pink, but as you see, there's many different colors working together that create the shadows. Because you have the AO layer, which creates the normal shadows as you see on the normal skins. So you would not want that to be different from all the other stuff. And usually the same goes for the cavity map. If you have one, this one has it, for example, now. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope this helped you, and I'll see you around.